Welcome to Saturday Sassy Stories, and we have Sam.
Sam the man.
Sam the man.
Who is not sassy.
Yes, he
His
is.
story, though, is his story is good. It's actually amazing, and that's why we brought him here today. He's going to share his experience, strength, and hope, and his story with you. So,
Yep.
Kristy.
Yep. I met Sam 7 years ago when I moved here, and one of the things, so Sam and I have known each other for a long time. One of the things that I love about Sam is I can have those deep and the root of the problem, spiritual conversations with him. And, it's not the people, it's not the places, it's not the things, it's not the sex, drugs, and rock and roll, it's the root of the problem. And there have been many conversations that Sam and I have had just sitting there talking about God. And Sam, I asked Sam if he would come and share his story. But I also asked him to talk about two things, really. A little bit about what his turning point was. And then the other thing is Sam is very involved in the program of NA, which is Narcotics Anonymous. And Amy and I, we talk a lot about Alcoholics Anonymous, but I thought that it would be really good for the NA community to hear from Sam, because Sam is very involved in NA on not only a local level, but a much bigger level. But Sam he dove all the way in and he spread all the way out. And so Sam is very much so very well known in the NA community here, and does a lot of service work. Anyway, he first started out in AA, and then he moved over to NA, and that is something that I also wanted him to touch on, is that AA and NA work together. They are not two separate programs. I mean, they are, but they aren't. They're still very much so unified under the God umbrella of recovery. So, without further ado, Sam the man.
Thank you, Sam.
Thank you, Sam.
Take it away.
We love you, Sam.
All right. So I am Sam. I'm an addict, and glad to be here today to share my experience, strength, and hope. I like to bring God into things when I do things, so I'm going to bring him in right now real quick, and just going to let him speak through me and use me to maybe help somebody, touch some things, whatever it may be. Just keep me on point, because I can get off point. So, all right. So, I had a great childhood. No issues, but I was my grandmother's favorite bartender by the time I was 8. So they were very affluent, and all the little bottles from playing fights and everything else. So when I was 8, 9 years old building forts, I had a wet bar in my forts, and what was that, amaretto, the liquid candy. Mm-hmm. Yes. Yeah. So I really didn't. I was too young, and but all the older kids around the neighborhood with the other things and all that, I kind of started early, is what I would say. I was 10 years old when I first got high. I was 12 years old when I first did cocaine. So I was running and gunning all through high school and everything else, and but I still graduated, walked, you name it. When everybody talks about the double life that we had, yeah, I had one. I had a deep, dark double life, because I sold drugs. It was money, drugs, women, everything it was. But yet I could go home and, I didn't do homework. I was too smart for that. Mm-hmm. But I could go home and they wouldn't know anything about that. So, but I'll say I was 18 years old, graduated, went to first year of college, and did nothing with class. Just did everything to do with drugs and women, and got a little further away. And so when I was 19, this is without knowing anything about programs or anything else, but I was a little. I knew I had a problem with coke, so my first initiative was to move out of Conroe, Texas, and go to Austin, just to get away from the cocaine. And so I still smoked pot and drank and did all that, but looking back on it all, that was my first geographical move. Yeah, I didn't silence my cell phone. Forgot about that.
It's okay.
But so and did all that life. Got a job at a good company, which I had for 12 years. I ended up transferring back to Houston, and girlfriend of 7 years. All the normal stuff we do in life is making good money. So I pretty much stayed away from the coke, but I was into the clubbing, and this is all in my 20s in Austin, Texas, back in the late 80s, early 90s. Those some good times, I would say. Good years. But I was married. I got married later on down the line, and I'll just go right into it. I was 30 years old, going through a divorce, wrecked a company truck, and just a little fender bender, and they took me in for a drug test, and so I had all the things. So I got to go to my first detox and my first introduction to a meeting, and I did all that to just get my job back. I was not one of y'all, absolutely not. I heard what they were talking about. So but I did get introduced to recovery at that time. So when got my job back, did the thing for a little while, was staying abstinent because I had to, so I was miserable, and ended up messing up, and then I got a DWI. This was in '96.
While you were on probation?
No, I wasn't on probation yet. I was just on.
You were on pretrial.
No, I was just. That was from work.
Yeah,
I only went.
You were having to walk the line with work.
I was having to walk the line with
wow.
work because I valued my job, but that's not enough to keep any of us clean and sober. So at least not me. But so then I did get a DWI, and I got put on probation, and that's when I was really introduced to the rooms of Alcoholics Anonymous, because they send you to meetings, and definitely was not one of y'all. Definitely was not one of y'all when I got here. Because we tell ourselves that, I'm better than, I'm smarter than. I had a prejudged vision of what a real alcoholic drug addict was, and that was the guy on the street that couldn't have a job and all that.
Yeah.
And there was I will say this, there was an old man in that meeting, and this is back when you had to look under the smoke and to see who was talking.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because it was that deep in smoke, and I'm a smoker, but it was even too much for me back then. But he kept saying "yet," to everything I said, so I didn't like him. And but wow, they all came true for me.
Yeah. All those yet showed
yeah.
up.
Yeah, because I didn't do. See, they told me, because alcohol really wasn't my issue. There's some things I skipped in my story, but I don't like to do anything that takes me out of being able to protect myself. So I don't like heroin or alcohol, any of the downers, any of the things that can take you out to where you can't defend yourself or anything else. That's why I was always a cocaine or meth or stimulants.
Yes.
And but
that's a good point.
it's just I wasn't trying to escape reality. I was trying to always enhance my reality. Is what I've been told. But so they told me in AA when that all I needed to do was change the words in the book to to drugs. Change the words. So what I heard was, I'm not one of y'all. That book doesn't apply to
It's
me.
selective hearing.
Yes, I had selective hearing.
Yeah.
I understand it today, but so that started off my whole journey of doing meetings, not really doing step work or getting involved or anything like that. I was just there to get a sheet signed. I like to look at it. That's how God had to keep pushing me through that way, because
He kept you there.
Yeah, he kept me there because I didn't even believe in God at that time. So, but after 9 years of in and out of trouble, um, not DWIs, but possessions under a gram, lots of in probation, come to meetings, uh, not do not complete probation, do not collect $200 and go to jail. And then go to jail, and then the first few times it's like you do your time, you come out, you're not on paper, so I could get in trouble again, and then get on paper again, and then have to come to meetings again, and over and over, and then it got to the point where I was going to prison. This is prison for all of them. They're just called state jail, the first three. But so when you don't complete your probation, like I did the drug court, all that stuff, so you get a lot of knowledge. But then you start going to prison, and then I'm a low risk nonviolent offender. I don't have any of that on my record, so I get to work off the units. I get to be the first one kicked out.
Yeah.
So I never do that much time. I get kicked out, and then I'm on parole.
Yes.
And so, once again, on parole, you have to go get sheets signed.
Yeah.
So you have to go to meetings. So it was it was in 2005. I was on some case, and my mom was in the program of Alcoholics Anonymous, and I was not on parole. I was on probation, but I wasn't doing the things, and so I needed to go on the run, because when they caught me, I was going to be terminated, and I was going to go to jail, and I don't like going to jail, so I'll just push it as long as I can, which ended up being a long year on the streets of New Orleans. But anyway, so I went to see my mom, and manipulate her out of some money so I could get on a bus and go to New Orleans on the run. And we're standing in Conroe, Texas. This ended up being my home group out there. Better late than never. But we're standing in the coffee bar. It's not like here. Everything in Texas is a coffee bar situation. You buy your coffee. That's how they keep the clubs running. But we're standing in the coffee bar, and I was like, this is after 9 years now of getting sheets signed, going to AA meetings, not really doing anything, but never heard the word Narcotics Anonymous ever in 9 years. Nobody ever thought to tell me I should go there or anything like that. But we're standing there, and I'm like, what is this NA thing on the door? And she said, ooh, that's the druggy room. And I was like, hello, Mom. Sorry, but that's me. And she was like, yeah, you should go in there. And so I went in there. They were talking my language.
Yeah.
They were talking. It was like, it was hitting me. But like I said, I was going on the run. So I did a year on the streets of New Orleans, got real bad. I was 40 years old when I got back and went and did my prison time, and got out and got in a halfway house, and that's where I went, was to Narcotics Anonymous at that place, and got my sponsor, who I still have today, but I did not do what he told me. Got to go to prison again. Got to come back out, do all those things that we get, jails, institutions, and death when we don't follow direction. You know, a sick mind doesn't fix a sick mind. Uh, I would. My biggest thing was women. Everything external. You know, jobs, women, getting a vehicle again. You know, whatever
Right.
it was. It was like all that's gonna fix me when it never fixed me.
Yeah.
You know, I could get it all and then I'd lose it all because it's an inside job. It's such an inside job, you know. But so you know, fast forward, I got more trouble, same little stuff, and you know, all through these years, because when I came to Narcotics Anonymous, I started like when I'd get strung out and be out there, I'd be like, oh, this would be a really cool day for a clean day. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna. This
Oh
would
yeah,
be.
you've got a cool clean day.
Yeah, well, I
Yeah.
do now,
Yeah.
but you know, I was always thinking that like this would be a cool clean day. That'd be cool on the board. You know, whatever it was, stupid stuff, really. But that's how we think when we're in addiction. But so all my life, my mom has always told me, and I was always taught that when you're riding around and there's three numbers or three letters on a license plate, you're supposed to praise God, you know. And by this time in the program and everything else I've been through, because I'd kind of worked steps, I was half-assing everything, but so so this is the God shot moment Kristy wanted me to talk about. But so I'm already back to believing there is a God. There is a higher power who I call God. And but I was strung out again, and I know this vividly. On February the 17th of 2013, I hit my knees and told God I needed some help, and I was sincere. And so 4 days later, you know, yeah, it's amazing how it works. 4 days later, after a lot more
That's
pain
funny.
and misery for myself out in the woods, because I I'd hit my knees in my apartment that I was being kicked out of by the cops, and basically going with my trash bag of clothes to the woods where I would chase dope for another 4 days. But I was standing at my mom's garage and two cop cars pulled up, and I was like, "Did you call the cops on me, Mom?" And she's like, "No." And I was like, "Well, here they come." And so they did. They came up. They asked me who I was and told them, and it was like, "Clean your pockets out. We're gonna take you to jail." And so they took me to jail for something I did not do.
Oh.
Yeah, yeah, I was being arrested for something I didn't do, and so it was kind of like registering to me, and they put me in the cop car, and I was still on parole at that time, but I only had 3 months left, so I knew nothing was going to happen. I was going to clear this up, and I was going to get kicked back out. But it hit me like when I was put in the cop car. I was like, tomorrow's going to be my clean date, and that's going to be 2/22 of 13, and that's the three numbers together. And I had asked God for help, and now I'm supposed to praise Him, and I knew it. Sitting in that cop car, I knew it, and
Wow.
so I went to jail. Yes, I didn't do it, uh, but my grand sponsor came to see me, and it's my buddy Mike. And I was telling him, I was sitting there on the other side of the glass, and I was telling him, I was like, "Look, man, you know, Scott's not working for me, and I really want you to be my sponsor." And he was like, "Well, Scott's my sponsee, and people that are doing." And he's like, "Oh, okay, what up?" He's like, "Let me ask you one question, and you answer honestly, and we'll go from there." And I was like, "All right." So he asked me. He said, "Have you ever done what Scott's told you to do?" And it was like, No.
Damn it, man.
Damn it.
Damn it.
No.
Ah.
Honestly, no. So he said,
Busted.
well, I'll tell you what, you do what Scott tells you to do, and if it don't work, I'll sponsor you. You know? What is this? Almost 14 years later, Scott's still my sponsor because it absolutely works when you follow directions. So.
We have such a hard time doing that sometimes.
Well, it's not so much. It's not the person. It's the
direction.
The direction.
Yeah, it's all simple. It's so simple. I got in the way. I always got in the way. But I got on a course of rigorous action. That was in 2013. I came here to Santa Rosa Beach with 3 months clean. I was on step 7 in the Narcotics Anonymous step guide. That's how my sponsor took me through. That's how I take my sponsees through. But and I came to the Camel Club, and that night.
The Camel Club, sorry. The Camel Club is a recovery clubhouse.
In Santa Rosa Beach, Florida.
Santa Rosa Beach,
you can
Florida.
look it up if you ever come here.
Yeah,
it's a great place.
It is a great place, and it hosts a very wide variety of recovery. AA, NA, Al-Anon,
adult children,
Alateen. It's a wonderful, wonderful place with a lot of different recovery programs, but it's still all together.
And we'll put the link. I'll put the link in the show notes for Camel Club's website.
Wonderful place.
So I came up there and that night to go to an NA meeting, and they said they don't have an NA meeting that night. I was like, well, it's on the schedule. And they're like, well, we go to AA. And I was like, I would drop the F-bomb here on that part because that's where I was at with all that at the time. But so instead of tucking and running as my norm, I went to AA and just listened. And because that's what my sponsor told me to do, was just go to a meeting. And so... And it's true, NA and AA are separated very hard through most of the country. That's how I was taught. Respect the room you're sitting in. If I'm sitting in Alcoholics Anonymous, I'm an alcoholic. If I'm sitting in NA, I'm an addict. Yeah. You would never know the difference from what I talk. I'm going to respect the books, either the big book or the basic text. Regardless, I stayed on my course of rigorous action, completed the steps, started getting things back, living a good life, living by spiritual principles, got involved with a woman, and in about 2.5 years clean, I was ready to get high, throw it all in. I was ready to that's where we get when things aren't going well. And looking back on it, it was like I was so disconnected. I wasn't doing any service. I wasn't sponsoring people. I wasn't helping. I was just showing up to a meeting here or there. I wasn't very connected, is what I would say. So when things started going bad in that relationship, I was just ready to give up because that's how I always handled things. But my sponsor, being who he is, got me on another course of rigorous action up there at the Camel Club, which was hosting the speaker meeting for a good year, going around to all these meetings around this area and grabbing people to come speak for their Saturday Night Live thing. And because I hated speaker meetings. Like I would hate having to listen to somebody do this right here. But that was at the time. Today I love it. It's our experience, strength, and hope. And that's what that taught me. But he got me doing something I didn't want to do, and got me back on, focus. And I haven't had the obsession to drink or drug since then. Through this program.
Didn't you help start NA at?
No, it was going. It was there. NA was there, but it wasn't very regimented. It wasn't really a strong group. Nobody had worked the steps. So I just I still had to work with my sponsor in Texas. But through the through the years, we've had people come and go, and some have gotten, you know, there's other people with more time, but they were always more AA, but they like coming to NA because most of us do both.
Yeah.
Is the truth.
Yeah.
I love NA.
Yeah.
But so over the years, it's grown. You know, I don't know. I know I still, like on Sundays, if I want to go to a new meeting, if I was in Conroe, Texas, I would go to NA. But being that I live here, I go to the Camel Club. I go to AA at noon, and it's a great meeting. You know, I'm not gonna fault anybody for how they want to recover.
Good point.
You know, if you want to go to CA or whatever A, that's all fine and dandy. But that's why I love Narcotics Anonymous, because we are all inclusive about everything. You know, and that's what the steps do. Of course, if I look back at it, you know, the big book in AA, our steps are based off of that. It's the exact same thing.
Yeah.
Plain and simple, it's the exact same thing. It's just the way I was taught to work my steps at the time is what I'm gonna say. At the time I was doing it in NA, I wasn't ready. I half-assed it.
Yeah.
You know, when I half-assed NA, it didn't work. But when I got ready and I thoroughly did it, honestly, open-minded, and dug and didn't go use, it absolutely worked. So I know AA would have worked. It's just I wasn't ready at that time. But you know, it's through, like we like to say, it's through identification. Is how it works. You know, I don't know. There's all the stigmas today with social media and everything else. Everybody wants to come in pre-diagnosed with everything. You know, it's all excuses.
Oh yeah,
It's all
an
excuse.
It's all excuses. It's all a crutch.
You know, I'll say my you know, I've had many God shots along the way with things that have happened since I've gotten clean and how they've happened to get me where I am today. But the part about the excuses. So when I got here, when I was 30, my excuse is I'm not one of y'all. I'm just going through a divorce. I got a house. I got a career. You know, vehicles, all the toys. So I'm definitely not one of y'all. And when I got clean when I was 46, so that's 16 years of chaos and turmoil from not doing this work. At that time, my excuse is I'm too far gone. I am too far gone.
Yeah.
I can never get back. I've lost it all, more than everything. You know, I've lived on the streets. I've lived in the woods. So, you know, that's what happened in 16 years is all that. But when you look at it from the spiritual side and the backside of it, it's the same damn excuse.
It is.
Same excuse, both sides of the spectrum. You know, I'm too far gone. I'm not gone enough. What?
Yeah.
Gone is gone. But so you know, but I did do it. You know, today it's great because like I was telling Kristy, like I'm going to do this podcast. Like I chaired my Monday night meeting, which is my home group. I have to go do step work with a guy after this. I have to do step work with a guy tomorrow. I did some Sunday morning with a girl. You know, I sponsor women too. I sponsor addicts. The old faux pas. But
And
you
I
know, men
appreciate
stick
you
with men and women stick with women.
Yeah, and that's okay. I mean, I can can understand that. And at first, when I had heard that a long time ago, I was like, what? That makes no sense. But, you know, it's how we relate to others. And if that's what's working for you.
It's how it played out
Yes.
here, because me and my Molly is one of my good strong women sponsees, which I've had this conversation with Kristy. Sponsorship works both ways, you know.
Yeah.
It goes both ways. Me sponsoring a woman that did this deal who's married, and I was doing the right thing in the program. I don't, you know, it's not. I had that conversation with my sponsor, and I just talked to him the other night because Molly is in Texas, and she went to meet him and my grand sponsor, so she could learn a little bit about her sponsorship tree. And he was like, I talked to him after they met her, and he was like, that was really awesome. You know, I've never had somebody want to know. And he was like, I don't remember. And I said, he said, I don't remember. He said, if you would have asked me if you could sponsor her, I would have told you no. Mm-hmm. And I said, you did tell me no, because I did ask you. And I was like, you don't remember this? And the whole conversation is we didn't have anybody at the Kennel Club at Narcotics Anonymous that she had tried another woman who relapsed. She had tried a woman in AA who had left the program, and she really wanted to be involved with NA, so she asked me. So that was the conversation I had with my sponsor, was there's nobody here to take her through them. Mm-hmm. And
so it's like when the student is ready, the teacher will appear, you know. And it's like if someone came up to me and said, I'm willing, period, I will stop my world for that person. I don't care if you have 5 heads and 16 ears and you're green and yellow polka dot. If you're willing, I'm going to do whatever it takes to help you, you know.
Correct.
And that's another beautiful thing about the program of recovery is, and something else that Sam is touching on is you see the disease, not the person.
Exactly.
You take the name tag off of the person. It doesn't matter if it's female, male, trans, or somebody with 5 heads and 16 ears. They're desperate and they're willing. Mm-hmm. As long as they're willing, then so are we. You know, it's like, I will help you.
And so you know, like I have had this conversation with Kristy before, like that. Me sponsoring her helped me grow in the areas where, because when we go through the steps, I'm going through them again too. Mm-hmm. You know, and touching on different things and dealing with it from a woman's side, and dealing with that made me work on my issues with women and all my traumas and everything else. So, you know, it was very, very beneficial for me. On the flip side, sitting here today, if somebody came in and wanted me to sponsor them and Molly was sitting in the room, I would tell them they should probably go talk to her.
Right.
Because she is a strong woman in recovery now. And, you know, that's what it was all about back then. But, you know, talking about the differences between AA and NA, some parts of the country will run you out of the room if you want to talk about the other program while you're sitting in the program. Mm-hmm. It's a hard draw. I've had to learn how to not take things personal. It's very ego killing if I can just sit in the room and be anonymous. Yep. And just be whatever they are. Yep. That's smashing my ego from the get-go.
I want to interrupt just real quick. Sam brought up a good point, and there was an old-timer back in Nashville, and it was talking about, you know, whether you're in AA or in an NA meeting or Overeaters Anonymous, Gamblers Anonymous, Sex Anonymous, never, ever, ever let anyone run you out
the room.
of the rooms. Never. You deserve to be there. You earned that seat. Never, ever, ever let anyone run you out. Now, that's very rare that, there are very grumpy people. I mean, there are grumpy people, okay? But for the most part, we are very unified. But there are the grumpy people that, might tell you you're in the wrong program. Nah, nah, nah. Don't hear just that one negative thing. Don't let that one negative thing cloud out all the 99 positives. So never ever let anyone run you out of the rooms. The rooms are very diverse, okay? There's going to be people in there that trigger you that you don't like and they don't like you. I don't give a shit. I don't care. I'm not leaving.
It's about principles before
I'm not leaving.
personalities.
I don't. You can sit there and dislike me, but I'm gonna keep showing up, okay? Because I'm not here for you first. I'm here for me first, and I'm I'm gonna keep coming back. So
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's the best thing I ever heard in recovery was that the toughest thing to do in recovery was going to be to keep my seat. And it's true. Because we go through where, I'm 14 years along. I keep my seat hard and heavy. Speak the truth. Some people don't like me, because a lot of, that's just who we are. I remember back in the day, there was a guy that I would speak and I would think I sounded so good, and then he would backdoor me with something out of the literature that disagreed properly with what I said, and I would catch that. So I just hated that guy. And today I might be that guy. Is what it's turned into, because I speak the truth.
Right.
And now and the funny thing is I saw that guy when I was back in Texas when my stepfather died. He was back in the rooms in the meetings, and it's we have a great relationship today, because he's got good recovery. But that's who we are when we're sitting in the rooms and trying to still hold on to our uniqueness or whatever it is. I mean, we are all unique, but the disease is one and the same with how it works on us.
Yeah.
Through misery, wanting us to check out and get messed up. it's I don't know. I still don't know a lot about. I don't know nothing about nothing, is what I like to say, but I know the actions to take on a daily basis, and to do this and to live by spiritual principles, which if you don't know what spiritual principles are, they're the exact opposite of all your character defects.
Absolutely. And
well, there you go. I've never heard it said like that. Go ahead, Amy.
So, Sam, there are people that are listening that may had multiple relapses, been in jail, been in prison. I can relate on a couple of your levels. I can feel that. Would you share with others that where you're at today, and that we know we do not have to let our active addiction define who we are today, and all of the leaps and bounds that you've made because you've put so much work into it? But would you mind sharing just how you're doing today? I know, amazing, but I think people need to hear you've gone through all of these things, and this is where you're landing. This is where your feet are today. I think that's important for people to hear.
Okay, yeah. Where my feet are today is I own a camper. I own a vehicle. The things are still not it for me.
Correct.
It's still so internal with me. I do a lot of recovery. I do a lot of things. Where I'm at today is I'm living and enjoying life on an everyday basis. I go to work. I drive a forklift in a big lumber yard. It's a bunch of chaos. I don't care. I don't pay attention. I do me. So I enjoy my days. Whatever it may be. I do recovery. I help people. It's a very. I have a lot of sponsees that are, and this is the that have. Man, I've got a lot of them that are 8 and 9 years along now. Emerson's 6, I think, but he lives by you. But it's hard. This is I still sit in the rooms, and I heard somebody share a story the other day about the guy he called to help him because he was at a bad place, and he went and stayed on his floor, and it's like the guy he called was my sponsee, so
Yeah.
he doesn't know that I know my sponsee. I did the work with him, and it's like
Yeah.
it makes
Yeah.
you feel good.
It
Came
does.
full
You
circle.
know, it's
It
like a
comes
full circle. But then it's like, but you can't have that that ego from it. Like,
But you're.
Right.
Did
but
you feel a
it's-
sense of like humility, knowing
Yeah.
yeah,
I was part of something so much bigger than me?
yes,
Yeah.
yes.
That is
That's
that feeling. I felt it's like I'm something part of
Mhm.
something so much bigger than me, and I was blessed and humbled enough that God chose me to be a part of that
Yes.
person's journey.
Yeah, with all these people.
Exactly.
Something else too, and kind of to somewhat wrap this up, and to go back to AA and NA working together, and all programs working together, is that I was taught that I can only teach someone how I was taught. So I have my sponsor, and I have my grandma's sponsor, and she's got a sponsor. So it's generations of the 12 steps, period, that have changed each one of these women's lives, okay? And so Sam just touched on that. His sponsor and his grandpa's sponsor all used the same 12 steps, and they taught Sam the steps, and it worked, and Sam gave it away, and it worked, and now his sponsees are giving it away to others. So many people say, oh, rehab doesn't work, or NA doesn't work, or AA doesn't work. No, hold up. You have to work for it. It works. You have to work for it. And Sam's story, from beginning to end, touches on that. He had the program that worked, but he did not work it. And so then he got to a point that he said, okay, I'm willing to work it, and it worked. So it's like when people say to me, and somebody just said it to me yesterday, we all know that rehab doesn't work. I said, number one, speak for yourself. Instead of we, you say I. And number two, you have to work for it. It works. The programs of Narcotics Anonymous, Alcoholics Anonymous are international. They're spoken in every language. That right there holds credibility, depth, and weight. I have to humble myself and work with it instead of against it. And Sam's story, talks so much about that, is you'll either rebel or conform. Rebel or conform. And when you conform and get a little bit of humility, it freaking works.
Yeah. So, y'all know that how you know that AA and NA are not a cult, right?
Tell us, Sam.
Tell
please.
us, Sam.
How do we know?
Well, because in a cult, everybody follows direction.
There you go. He solved
Only
that
some of
whole
us follow
mystery.
direction here.
Yeah.
But that's we all hear that from social media. Oh, it's a cult. No, it's not.
Yeah.
But like what Kristy was touching on. Yes. It's what it's all about today. Is I'm not miserable in my head. I don't have all that chaos going on. That it's grounded in reality of today. You know, I don't have to build things up anymore, future trip, whatever it is. You know, I know for a fact God's got me. Because for 14 years now, everything's only gotten better. There's been no bills cut off. There's, you know, I've gone through trials and tribulations, deaths. You know, like my whole family has died since I've been clean. Uh, the whole house. And I'm the last one standing, and I should have been the first one to go.
Yeah.
You know, if that doesn't show you something, but you know, but just being able to walk through things and it not define, like you said, it doesn't define you anymore. It doesn't define me anymore with who I am. Who I am is just a honest person that can stand back. I don't have to take credit. I don't, you know, nobody's got to know what I'm doing. It's peaceful.
Yeah.
It's peaceful. I don't have to get out there and shout it out because that's what my disease wants me to do. Like, look at me. Look at these people sitting in the rooms, the ones that are all happy and have sponsees, and they're happy and they're doing it. They're all my sponsees.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, I can't look at it like that.
No.
You know, I do understand we're bearing good fruit.
Yeah.
And that's that's enough. You know, that's what God wants me to do.
Yeah. Just help somebody.
And that's why I stay in NA. Is like I like to say, you know, a lot of people go to church and whatever else they may do, but I truly believe that the walk is I'm bringing people to God that don't even know they're looking for Him.
Yeah.
You know, through the 12 steps. That's on them. The God of their understanding. But I can go to church. I hear the same message.
Yep.
From the pastor.
Yeah.
You know, it's all intertwined. It's just got to be a spiritual higher power. It just can't be me.
Yeah.
There is a God, and it's not me.
It's not me.
Yeah.
I tried playing that, but got the cough today. But yeah, life is good. Everything that I thought couldn't be was all BS. You know, it's come back tenfold. Not the career I had or anything like that. Like I did marine construction here for 8 years. Went off on my own, had my own remodeling, but I hurt my shoulder. Just gonna go get a job driving a forklift at a corporation. I get paid well, but you know, just slow down. Like all that money chase became not important for me. Just more internal. You know, I talk about this all the time. I don't know if it's just being 14 years and I'm doing a lot of work in the program, a lot of spiritual growth. I don't know if it's that or age.
Maybe a combination of both.
Maybe a
it's both,
combination.
Sam.
But we sit here and say that because I'm going to turn 60 in a few months. And I wasn't supposed to live this long. But at the same time, I haven't grown up yet. She knows that.
Yeah.
So
Well,
I don't know.
I think that's why
So
we
I
get
don't know
along
if it
so
can
well.
be the age thing
So,
because I haven't grown up
yeah,
yet.
whatever.
You know,
You're still
so it's unreal. But you know, I never knew peace was what I was looking for.
Yeah.
But to know that you're going to be okay no matter what is a pretty amazing feeling. Like I had a car wreck not too long ago. Never had a car wreck in my life, so it threw me for a loop. Dealing with the insurance and all that scam, but you know, I kind of knew it because I got into my head so hard about it the first day. Like, oh, I love that car. I just got it. Only had it in my name 3 months. It's the first time I was out of a hoopty for a long time.
Mhm.
You know, I called my Xterra a hoopty, but it was actually all right. But and it got wrecked, and I was sore, and I was going through it the first day, and I was like wrapping, trying to all this stuff in my head, and I was like, oh no, 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 let's quit with that. I'm not gonna figure it out. So I went and picked up sticks around my property, which is not my property, but it's where I live, and just picked up sticks and put them in the fire pit
Yeah.
because I can do just things and not have to be in my head, and I'm good.
You moved a muscle to change a thought.
So
Amy and I talk about that a lot. Move a muscle, change a thought. Move a muscle, change a thought. And it was the humble act of picking up sticks to stop that chaos in your brain. And it worked.
so yes, it does work. Um, you know, if, like one of y'all touched on it. So you go to rehab. That's when your disease is arrested. See, we talk about that in our readings. That's my disease had to be arrested at some point, and then recovery was possible.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
You know, so be it a rehab or really arrested and go to jail, but basically all it means is that I stopped using long enough to have a moment of clarity.
Mm-hmm.
You know, of
Yep.
what it's doing, but you know, there's so much. It's like one of my sponsees says it. If you could go in my head when I got here 14 years ago, with how chaotic it was, and if you could go in my head today and see the difference in
Oh.
the thought process and the
Oh,
pattern, you
gosh.
would absolutely do exactly what I told you.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know, you'd be like, what? And I have a sponsee that likes to say that because I started sponsoring him when I was 6 years clean. And we had that conversation when I was 12 years clean. And he was 6 years. He was like, man, with how I'm feeling today and what I'm thinking, he's like, that's where you were when you started sponsoring me. And I was like, I know, I was still sick, wasn't I? But you know, it just gets better and better. The longer I do this, the more peace. You know, I don't know. It's a hard draw because it's like we're not trying to sell it. You know, it's freely given. You know, it's here for the taking. It's just
That's the problem.
like Kristy
It
said.
is free
You know.
and it's available, and a lot of people get fearful of that, or they may not think it's worthy because it doesn't cost anything. And what they don't realize is it's costing them everything
Yeah.
if
That's
they
a good
don't
point.
and actually get involved. But
Yeah.
You know, and Sam brought up a good point too, you know, that some people stay quiet about it and some people don't. And I'm one of those people that I absolutely will not hush up about the goodness of God and the program of recovery. I will not do it. And, you know, I know that my motive is pure. It does not, I don't have hidden motives. I don't, you know, come across in any kind of way to mislead people. I just simply talk about the goodness of recovery, and that's what God wants me to do, and I say yes, sir, because God's been good to me. So I learned a long time ago to just say yes, sir. I was like, all right. So.
Yeah.
so Sam, thank you
Thank
for
you.
coming.
Absolutely.
And
Thank you so
just-
much.
I do what I'm
And-
told.
We appreciate you. And everyone, thank you for listening. If you enjoyed this podcast episode, we're asking you to please like and share it. And I'm going to put in the show notes again the Camel Club information. So when you come to 30A, you can come to a meeting.
Absolutely. We'll
You
also
just go to a meeting wherever you're
Yeah,
at.
yeah.
Yes,
you can go
but if
wherever.
you come here, you have an opportunity to possibly see Sam.
Yeah. Reach out to us if you have any questions whatsoever. We now have an email address, which is
info at Southern Sober and Sassy.
We will also put links in there to Alcoholics Anonymous, Narcotics Anonymous, and probably a couple other programs. But you'll be able to, if you just simply Google AA or NA, or Gamblers Anonymous, Overeaters Anonymous, Al-Anon, all these meetings will pop up, and those meetings are much more common than you probably think they are. So we'll link that information, and if you have any questions, always reach out to us.
Yep.
Thanks again, Sam.
Bye.
See ya.